good Sunday afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, dude and dudettes, beautiful people. How are you doing? It is Sunday afternoon, and guess what? It is time to talk a little sports. I am your sports guy, Kendrick, the sports guy. You are checking me out live here on YouTube and Facebook at TFG Sports Media. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, make sure you do that. Make sure you like this live stream. Make sure you share this to all your social media platforms. Also, you can subscribe on YouTube to my other sports channel that is Kendrick Sports Hustle. That's SporTZHustle. Make sure you do that, and we'll get things popping. It don't cost you nothing. When I say subscribe, that's free on YouTube. Just click that subscribe button, click that notification bell that you can be alerted when new content is headed your way. And also, if you like to contribute to the channel to me to help me build this platform, there's a little $ thank you during the live stream on YouTube that you can contribute. You can also hit me on my Cash App, as you see on the screen. You're not obligated, but any contribution would be helpful, and I would throw it right back into myself. I'm buying, I'm paying, I'm putting all this money into me and developing my own sports gig. So again, you're not obligated, but any donation would be greatly appreciated. Now, the only house rule I got in Kendrick's Club Kendrick, not Club Shay, Club Kendrick. You got to come in and you got to comment and let me know where you're watching from. Can't be hiding in the bushes on YouTube and Facebook. Make sure you click that like, subscribe, share it, but make sure you comment. Let me know where you're watching from and what we're talking about. But we're going to talk a little college football and a little NFL, and then we're going to get out of here. Speaking of college football, we got a game tonight. Tonight we do have a game, college football on ABC ESPN. That is USC and LSU. It is going down tonight on ABC ESPN at 6:30 p.m. So if you're looking for some college football to watch, you can check that out. So let's go ahead and jump into our first segment. Again, we're going kind of just talking about results from yesterday, Saturday. We had a lot of college football. It was week 1 of the college football season. We had some games. The previous week, it was only a few. But we had a majority of big matchups that went down on yesterday. Let's start with the number 1 ranked Georgia Bulldogs, man. They look like they picked up where they left off. Unfortunately, they didn't win the big one last year, but look like they are on a mission after they spanked Clemson on yesterday, 34-3. Georgia quarterback Carson Beck look he definitely is a Heisman Trophy front runner. He's in the talking. He's a hopeful. He threw for 278 yards and 2 TDs. And again, Georgia just looked dominant. Defense was dominating. They rushed for 100. Offensively, they rushed for 169 yards versus the Bulldogs and Clemson. Versus the Tigers, and Clemson just couldn't get anything done. Dabo Swinney. I don't want to have a knee-jerk reaction. I've been reading a lot of comments in a lot of sports groups today, and a lot of people having a knee-jerk reaction about these first games, and some of the coaches and who on a hot seat and this and that. I'm not saying Dabo Swinney is on a hot seat, but I definitely think he's going to have to change the way he does recruiting, because he is not a fan of the transfer portal. And by the way, he has not even entered the transfer portal. He hasn't accepted any transfer portal since it has became a thing. Matter of fact, the last transfer athlete that he had to start for him was back in 2018. But I think he's going to have to change the way he does business. Trey says Ohio State coach should be on the hot seat. Wow, Trey, man, that's early, man. Come on. It's just week 1, and they won. Ohio State won. So why should it be on the hot seat? I like to know that. Tigers, LSU. That's right, Crypto. That's going down tonight. But I think Dabo Swinney is going to have to change the way his thought process when it comes to recruiting and building his team, because the transfer portal to change the game, man. And if you're not really getting players, I'm not saying you're trying to recruit players from other schools, but if you're not looking at other players that may want to look at your program, you got to see what happens. Trey says because of last year Cotton Bowl loss. To be honest, I think it's still too early to say that, Trey. I mean, that's last year. Last year's last year. Well, you can't do nothing about that. It's time you starting today. Everybody's starting fresh. So yeah, that was a bad loss, but obviously I think he's safe. I think he's safe now, unless Ohio State implodes this year. I really think he's safe, in my opinion. But Dabo Swinney is definitely going to have to look at a different way of doing his thing at Clemson. As far as Kirby Smart, he keeps bringing them players in, man. Georgia just keep bringing them in. Trey says, to be honest, I think Mizzou is going to make a statement. Little Burden is a problem. And speaking of a problem, Trey, there's a receiver that a lot of people they probably don't know about, that I just happened to run across. And I don't want to butcher his name, but he plays for the Arizona Wildcats. His name is Teatora McMillan. Remember that name. He also goes by T-Mac. He had 10 receptions for 304 yards and 4 touchdowns last night. He went off in their 61-39 win over New Mexico. This kid is 6'5", 220 pounds. They already saying he's probably going to be a first-round draft pick. Yeah, Trey, he went off last night. I just happened to stumble upon his highlights, and I'm like, who is this dude? 6'5", 215 pounds. So, again, y'all keep your eye on that name. They in the Big 12 now, so you're going to see a little bit more of mid nickname is T-Mac. Yeah, that's dope. Yeah, it's T-Mac. So, yeah, y'all keep your eye on him. They're speaking of a big debut as well. A transfer. Speaking of transfers, Cam Ward for the number 19 ranked Miami Hurricanes. Man, they put a whooping on Florida yesterday, 41-17. It wasn't even close. Cam Ward threw for 385 yards, 3 touchdowns. He's transferred in from Washington State. Miami, right, Trey, I agree. Miami will get into the top 10. Speaking of the AP top 25, normally the new one doesn't come out, I think, until Wednesday. So the one that you're seeing right now on if you're watching me on YouTube or on Facebook, this is not the updated version, because we know Texas A&M lost, so they'll drop out of the top 20 for sure. We know they'll probably drop out. So we don't know what LSU is going to do because they're playing USC tonight. But Miami, Cam Ward, he is the real deal. They rolled up on Florida, and let's just say now, like, again, I don't want to have a knee-jerk reaction, but the head coach of the Florida Gators, Billy Napier, I think he's on the hot seat, Trey. I think Napier's on the hot seat. Of course, you don't ever want to lose to your in-state rival, but the way they lost, that definitely is not looking good for Napier in Florida. But the problem is, if they decide to don't sleep on Notre Dame too. I watched them as well. That defense looked tight. They run game looked tight. I'm still a little iffy on their quarterback, who they got from Duke. But as far as everything else, they did look pretty strong last night, Trey. But the thing is, Billy Napier, if Florida decides to get rid of him, they have to buy him out at $26 million. That's a lot of bread to give up to fire a guy. But in his third season, man, Napier hadn't been the guy that they thought he was going to be. So keep your eye on Billy Napier. Maybe by week 8 of this college football season, because Florida has they got a hell of a schedule too coming up. They got to play Georgia, Texas A&M, and some other ones in there. So it's going to be tough. So don't be surprised if Billy Napier might get that pink slip in the middle of the season. Troy says it's crazy seeing Florida being mid the last few years. Yeah, it really is, and I'm shocked. I thought that they shouldn't have got rid of Dan Mullen. Mullen, I mean, they fired him. Obviously they weren't where they wanted to be, but he had a winning record pretty much the couple of seasons that he was there. So be on the lookout for Miami. Like Trey said, they're probably going to jump up. They're going to move up, quite sure, because that was a big win over Florida. Another Heisman. Look out. Keep your eye on Cam Ward. 385 yards, 3 touchdowns against the Gators. Now, Texas put a whipping on Colorado State on yesterday. I pretty much turned away from that game. But Texas backup quarterback Arch Manning, he got his first collegiate touchdown pass, and he ran for 1 touchdown as well. As, again, Texas beat up on Colorado State 52-0. I think that's what that's what they're supposed to have been doing. I didn't think Colorado State was going to have a chance against the Longhorns. They still number 4. The big storyline for them has been them in Oklahoma moving to the SEC. What are they going to do in this new conference? We're going to see what happens on that. Trey says, don't sleep on Colorado too, laughing out like they get hate, but I love what Prime is doing. Trey, I agree with you. I'm going to mention them a little bit because I like Prime too. I was having a conversation with a family member of mine, and he kind of didn't kind of switched up on me. He said he was a Coach Prime fan, but when we was talking, it didn't seem like it. But anyway, I like what he's doing. I still think they got some work to do with that offensive line. I think it's better than it was last year, but they still got to protect better. They got to run the football better. And obviously, Travis Hunter, he's definitely a Heisman front runner too. But playing a lot of snaps, that's one of the things that I think that could wear him down. So I think Coach Prime, they're gonna have to look and see if they can kind of not have him playing on all those snaps. Speaking of quarterbacks, Shadur Sanders to the Cowboys, that's been a rumor. But let's let him get through college first, Trey. We're jumping the gun. Let's talk about him. He had a hell of a game. I know it was North Dakota State. Everybody, they struggled to win that game. But again, I'm not having a knee-jerk reaction. I do think the Big 12 is going to be tough on Colorado, though, because I think that offensive line is still a little shaky. But again, it's the first game, so we're going to give him time. Speaking of Shadur, he had 445 yards passing, 4 TDs, 1 interception. Travis Hunter, he had 7 receptions, 132 yards, 3 touchdowns, and had one of the coldest catches. That might be the catch of the year, like Trey says, already in week 1. Jimmy Horn Jr. also had 7 receptions, 198 yards, and 1 touchdown. So that's one guy. A lot of times, Shadur and Travis Hunter get all the limelight, but Jimmy Horn Jr. he's quietly become one of a big threat for that Colorado Buffalo team as well. Again, Colorado gonna have to do better running the ball. They only rushed for 59 yards. They got to do better than that. Again, I think the offensive line is definitely going to have to block better as well. Now, Notre Dame, Trey brought up Notre Dame. I watched that game, and the second, I got to give A&M credit. I know A&M lost, but that game was back and forth. I believe Mike Elko has this team playing a little better than Jimbo Fisher did, but Notre Dame, I think, is one of those teams that, they're going to be flying under the radar. But they got a big win at Cal Station on last night, 23-13 over A&M. They had 198 yards on the ground, just like Trey said. They got that running back game. They was doing their thing. That linebacker for A&M is good, Trey. But Notre Dame, they showed me something too, especially that run game. That run game showed me something. 198 yards against a pretty good A&M defense. Again, offensively, the quarterback position, I think that's a little shaky, in my opinion, for A&M. I just don't think he's the guy. But A&M also had some yards on the ground too. They had 146 yards rushing, but they only had 100 yards passing. So again, I know Aggie fans are still probably feeling some type of way having to pay all that money to Jimbo Fisher to get him out of town. You bring in Mike Elko. This is not how you want to just start your season. But again, let's not have a knee-jerk reaction. Notre Dame is actually a damn good football team. A&M actually played well. I think offensively, their quarterback just has to do a little bit better in the passing game. So we're going to see what happens again. A&M in the SEC. Speaking of running backs, there is a Hall of Fame running back son that is now a Aggie, by the way. E.J. Smith. He is the son of Emmitt Smith, former Cowboy running back, legend, Hall of Famer, all-time leading rusher in the NFL. His son, E.J., transferred from Stanford to A&M. So I don't know how much playing time he got last night. I didn't actually see him. He may have got in. I meant to really focus on that, and I missed it. So I don't know how much time he got. But again, Emmitt Smith's son, E.J. Smith, is now an Aggie. Aggie fans, I know it's a loss. You hate to lose at Kyle Field, but again, that could be a springboard for what's next for them coming on. I think Mike Elko is going to have this team. I think he's going to have this team playing pretty well when it really means something. So again, that's our college football, some of the results from yesterday. Again, we got a game tonight. USC, LSU is going down 6:30 p.m. on ABC, ESPN. So that should be a good one too. USC we'll see what they look like without Caleb Williams now. We'll see what they look like without him. Trey said that's a lot of former players in college football right now. It's dope. Yeah. So we're gonna see what's that. So now we're gonna move on to the big leagues now. Let's move on to the NFL. We got that kicking off on Thursday night, September 5th. It's going down. Kansas City Chiefs, defending Super Bowl champs. Looking LSU, Trey said LSU is going to destroy USC. I think they are too, Trey. But hopefully it's a good game. I don't want to have to turn away from it. But the season opens September 5th. All you guys, you got your fantasy leagues set. I know some people may be doing their fantasy drafts tonight. I don't know. But tonight, Thursday night, it's going down on NBC Peacock. Again, the Baltimore Ravens at the Kansas City Chiefs, a rematch of last season's AFC championship game. It will be on NBC Peacock, 7:15 p.m. Again, the Chiefs are looking to three-peat. They will be the first NFL team to ever do that if it happens, but it ain't going to be an easy road to do. It's hard even two-peating or repeating in the NFL, but to do it 3 times in a row, that's a tough thing. But, you know, the Chiefs, as long as you got Patrick Mahomes at the quarterback position, you got him at the helms, you know, you give yourself a shot. But they will be without one of their weapons. Marquise Hollywood Brown will not play in this game on Thursday. He has a dislocated shoulder that he suffered in that first preseason game. He won't be ready. But from the way head coach Andy Reid talks, he may be ready by week 2 or week 3. Ladarius, KC fans, I hear you. Trey says the Chiefs have only gotten better, but we got Ravens, then Bengals back to back. Oh, Trey, you're a KC fan. Okay, you're a Chiefs fan. Ladarius, I see you're a fan too. Okay. If y'all don't know Patrick Mahomes, I actually covered his last high school football game when I was working in television media at KOTV, the ABC affiliate here in Tyler, Texas. That's where I'm at. I'm right now. I actually covered his last high school football game. He lost in the semifinals when he played for White House. They were 1 game away from the state championship game. So I was able to cover him during high school. So, yeah, I know Patrick Mahomes very well. So that's dope. It's saying you got to see him in high school. Yeah, and he had that arm in high school. Actually, he was great at baseball. He had a 90-mile-per-hour fastball in high school. So, yeah, he could have probably played baseball if he wanted to, but football, I think, was his first love. So, again, I'm looking forward to that game. It's going down. Unfortunately, Hollywood Brown won't be able to play to face his former team. We're going to see what Lamar Jackson, reigning MVP versus the reigning Super Bowl MVP. These two is probably going to be, their careers are always kind of going to be locked together, I think, from here on out. Because, you know, that AFC is a tough road to go. So we're going to see what happens. I can't wait. Again, that goes down on Thursday, September 5th. Trey says, did you think he was going to be special early on? Yeah, I did, Trey. I'll be honest with you. I was more so after his freshman year at Texas Tech. With his first year at Texas Tech, that's when I knew. I was like, man, this young fella, he gonna be in the league. He gonna be something special. Did I think he was gonna be this special? No. But I said that he was probably gonna be one of those quarterbacks that, you know, he's gonna make a good name for himself. And look what he's done, man. He's on the verge of, because hey, if he win another Super Bowl, he's definitely in that GOAT conversation. Yeah, I mean, you know, I think at that point you gotta him and Tom Brady, even though Brady got 7 of them, you still got to remember that. Trey says, I remember that Baker versus Mahomes college game. Yeah, they lit it up too, didn't they? I remember that too. They lit up the scoreboard. But again, NFL can't wait. It's going down Thursday night. Ravens at KC. I'm picking the Chiefs to win this game. I think it's going to be. I'm giving 10 points to the Chiefs. I think they're going to win this by 10. I'm not going to give a score, but I think they'll win this by 10. So that kicks off the NFL season. But we got a first 2 this year. We got a Friday night game that's going down in Brazil, by the way. And if you didn't know, I guess I got to show Trey. And everybody else. If you don't know, everybody that watch me on Facebook and YouTube, you already know. It's always a great day to be a Packers fan. I am a cheesehead. I was born in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, so you know I got to talk about my Packers too. But speaking of Packers, they opening up the season in Brazil, by the way. And I actually found this dope mural that someone has painted in Brazil. If you're watching me on YouTube and Facebook, you can see it. Someone painted a mural of Eagles quarterback Jalen Hurts and Packers quarterback Jordan Love on the side of a building. It is dope. You want to check it out? You can come. You can watch me on again TFG Sports Media and on YouTube as well as on Facebook. You can see it. So I just happened to find that, and I was like, "Yo, that's dope that somebody did that." Again, this game is going down on Friday night. This will be I believe, the first NFL game played on Friday night, if I'm not mistaken. Friday night, that is. We had a Black Friday game last year, which was the first on Black Friday. I think this is the first Friday night game in the NFL. Well, it's going down in Brazil between the Eagles and my Packers. That game kicks off at, I think, 7:15 p.m. Central Standard Time, and it will be on Peacock. So hopefully you got the Peacock app. You got the whatever you is, that game will be on Peacock. So, that's going to be a good one. Jordan Love versus Jalen Hurts. The young fella had a really good season, especially toward the middle, talking about Jordan Love. He really showed, he showed what he was made of. Then he went into AT&T Stadium, which I affectionately call Lombardi Field South, because my Green Bay Packers own that stadium. That's like a home field for us. We've had a very good record in there, and we won our last Super Bowl in AT&T Stadium, by the way. So he's played well ever since. Almost got the Packers to that NFC Championship game, which he and we could have won. It should have beat the 49ers, I believe. So I'm expecting big things from the Packers this year. The Eagles are looking good. They got a lot of talent. They got Saquon Barkley. They got him from the Giants. They've added some pieces on the defense. Trey says, wonder if Lil Wayne is going to go to that game. That's a good question, because he's a Packers fan too. It's in Brazil. He probably will. He may be there. So the Eagles are looking good too as well. They got a new offensive coordinator. With what's his name that was with the Cowboys? I can't think of his name now, but that's the new offensive coordinator who had 1 year with the Chargers, and then now he's moved on. So they got a new offensive coordinator. They're gonna have to get used to that. Oh, Kellen Moore. Kellen Moore is his name. Trey says Packers versus Chiefs Super Bowl. I'm with you. I'm digging that prediction, Trey. I can rock with that. So that's gonna be a good one on Friday night. Eagles, Packers. Again, that is going down in Brazil. You can check that game out on Peacock if you have that, if you're not wanting to watch high school football. Because I'm in Texas, and by the way, it's high school football time here, and high school football is king in Texas, if you don't know. And Friday nights, most people are at a high school football game. So I had to flip a coin to say, am I going to go watch my alma mater, the Tyler High Lions, play the Tyler Legacy Red Raiders, or I'm going to stay home and watch my Packers and the Eagles? I think I'm going to stay home and watch the Packers on the Eagles. But I don't know. I'll make that decision come Friday. So we'll see about that. So, again, we got a big season, got a whole bunch of games that I'm scrolling right there that you can see in week one. Again, the regular season for the other teams kicks off on next Sunday. We got high school. We got NFL season is here. I can't wait. And we ready to get this thing rocking and rolling. So I have some other NFL notes I want to tell you about if you didn't hear about the tragedy that happened out of San Francisco. Rookie wide receiver Ricky Pearsall, he was shot in an attempted robbery by a 17-year-old suspect. This happened on Saturday afternoon in the Union District, I believe, in San Francisco. But I do have an update. He was shot in the chest as he tried to grab the gun from this suspect. They wrestled with it. Both of them eventually were shot. Pearsall was shot in the chest. It went through his back, and this is according to his mother. His mother would tell the USA Today, fortunately, it didn't hit any vital organs. It went straight through, and thank God, man, that he's going to be okay. Actually, he is now out of the hospital because he was listed as stable condition. But now, according to the last report I got, he is in stable condition. His mother, Erin, again, gave that update to USA Today. So we want to say, man, thankfully, man, that this young wide receiver is okay. This is a rookie out of Florida. He was the 31st pick of the 49ers in the first round of this past NFL draft. And he had been having some injuries during camp, so he had been up and down. But the 49ers expected him to be a backup to Brandon Ayuk, as well as Deebo Samuel. They was expecting him to be a part of that receiver rotation, but don't know the time frame on when he will be able to come back and play. But he is out of the hospital, and that's a good thing. So definitely glad for that speedy recovery for Ricky Pearsall. Also, staying with the 49ers, they finally came to a contract agreement with Brandon Ayuk. You know what's funny about this extension that he agreed to had been on the table since August. This the same deal. I don't know what was going on, but it's the same deal. He got a 4-year, $120 million extension that would keep him in San Francisco through the 2028 season. Again, but this is the same deal that's been on the table since August 12th. $76 million of that is guaranteed. $47 million of that will be paid to Ayuk before April 1st of 2025. That now makes him the 5th highest paid wide receiver in the NFL. It ties him with the Dolphins' Tyreek Hill at $30 million per season. Just, all these receivers been getting paid this offseason, from Cowboys CeeDee Lamb to the Vikings Justin Jefferson to the Dolphins Jalen Waddle. The only one that hadn't got paid yet is Bengals Jamar Chase. So we're going to see what happens. He hadn't it's a question mark if he's going to even play week 1. So we'll see what happens with that. So that was the latest with the 49ers. And they're all pro, everything left tackle, Trent Williams. He's still holding out. So don't know if he's going to be available for week 1 when the 49ers, which they open up on Monday night, September 9th versus the Jets. So don't know if Trent Williams will be in the lineup because he wants his contract redone too. Just another quick note from the NFL. I was reading this about the youngest and oldest teams in the NFL. And just so happens my Green Bay Packers happens to be have the youngest roster in the NFL, 53-man roster. Their average age is 25.11 years old. And their oldest player is defensive end Preston Smith. And he's only 31. Go figure. So there you have it. That's a little bit of our NFL. So again, we got NFL kicking off on Thursday. We got NFL games on Thursday. Chiefs, Ravens. Then on Friday, we got the Packers, Eagles. Then Sunday, we got the whole list of games that's going down. Cowboys head to the Browns. I know people want to know they will open up on the road at the Browns. That is a 3:25 p.m. late game. So again, I want to thank everybody for popping in, especially Trey for over here talking back to me on TikTok. Appreciate that. Make sure you share this live. Share it. Tap the screen, share it, and click that follow button on TikTok as well. I want to thank those that may watch this later on Facebook or YouTube. Make sure you like, subscribe, post this to all your social media platforms as well. And click that notification bell. Make sure you're alerted when new content and live streams like this and all that breaking news, sports entertainment, all that is headed your way. So we're getting down to my freestyle moment. This is kind of where I just talk about anything and everything. May not be sports related, but I do want to talk about, man, a sad story, man. The last couple of months, man, death has been hitting men, especially in the 50-year-old age group. And I have to say, I was shocked when I opened up that Fat Man Scoop. If those that is in the hip hop, Fat Man Scoop passed away at the age of 53 on, I believe, yesterday. Someone said that he collapsed backstage at a concert that he was a part of. If you're not familiar with Fat Man Scoop, he was one of the original hype men. Hype men on the mic. If you remember back in the day, MC Hammer had his hype man, 2 Big MC. Public Enemy had Flavor Flav. Hype man. That's what Fat Man Scoop was. He was a hype man. He was on a bunch of remixes. Did a remix with Lose Control, Missy Elliott. Did a remix Faith Evans song, I believe it was Love Like This, which became a big major hit. But man, it just saddens me, man, that a lot of men in my age group are passing away at an early age, man, at 53. But I definitely wanted to shout out, man, to one of the dopest hype men to ever do it in the hip hop game, Fat Man Scoop. He passes away at the age of 53. Also, I want to give you guys an update to when my live stuff is going. Now with NFL football about to start back on Sunday, I will now be going live at 10:30 a.m. on Sundays rather than 4, because I want to kind of do my NFL pregame stuff. And I know everybody want to watch football. You're going to be from 12 o'clock until about 6:30. Most people are going to be watching football. So I'm going to start doing my Sunday show now during football season at 10:30 a.m. on Sunday. So make sure you write that down. TikTok, make sure you write that down. Make sure you put that on your calendar. Come tune in and check your boy out, Kendrick the Sports Guy, on Sunday mornings starting at 10:30 a.m. And last, before I get out of here, I definitely dedicate all shows that I do in loving memory of my big sis, who's actually my first cousin, but we were first cousin by blood, but sister by relationship, Britannica Lynn Henderson Baber. On today would have been her 58th trip around the sun. My big sis, we were very close. She was my biggest supporter. She supported me in everything that I done. And she would support me no matter what it was, especially when I started this sports thing on social media. She was my biggest cheerleader, and we lost her in March of 2023. And quite frankly, my life hasn't been the same since she's been gone. But I dedicate this show on my big sis born day. On today, September 1st, she would have made 58. But I know her spirit is walking with me and will forever be with me. I love her. I will always love her. Will always keep her memory alive, no matter what. She's going to always be a part of this thing that I'm doing. Because, again, she was my biggest cheerleader. So continue on your peaceful journey, big sis, and happy eternal born day from your little bro. You down here doing it for us. All right, so I want to thank everybody for watching the show. TikTok, appreciate you, everybody on Facebook and on YouTube. Again, new time next Sunday, 10:30 a.m. Hope to see you there. Again, enjoy the rest of your Sunday. We got LSU, USC tonight, 6:30 p.m. Eastern on ABC ESPN. And we'll see you on the other side and on the next report. I am out. Peace.